Hey,
Hey, what's up, man?
how you doing?
Good. How are you?
Where are you at?
So I Googled cool tree houses, I think. I don't know. I'm so stupid. I wanted like some like a casual background,
It looks
something.
like it looks like the Bellagio or something.
Yeah, it's like some kind of restaurant, like it's almost like a rainforest cafe kind of thing, but like there's this huge it looks like a huge like tree house.
Hmm.
Something it's like a my like 9-year-old wet dream basically
The
before I could
Rainforest Cafe is a big tree house, isn't it?
basically I think yeah, but it's pretty lame. Like there's like moving animals that swing from the ceiling. It's very on I was very stressed the entire time I was at Rainforest Cafe.
That's the opposite desired result.
I hate themed restaurants. There's too much there's too I hate that like the server that has that present too much presentation. Like they have
I
like
hate that too.
memorized stuff they don't want to fucking say it. We don't want to hear it.
Hmm.
It's like there's no so I hate doing that charade. Just give me
It's
a
like a bass
nice
solo. It's like a bass solo. Nobody wants to be doing it. Nobody wants to be listening to it because it's not.
exactly. Let's just not do it at all. I'll heat up a hot pocket and
So-
masturbate instead, please.
and one of my best friends is a bass player, so I can say that.
Yeah, Nate, is that
I'm
Nathan?
making a joke. A lot of my best friends are bass players.
Yeah, you have a lot. There's a lot of bass players.
There are there are a lot of bass players. It didn't used to be that way. It used to be there was only one.
Oh,
And
so it used to be hard to find a bass player, right?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but now it's
Um
hard to find a drummer. Is that right?
yeah, well, yeah, there's like three drummers and they're all playing for five bands.
Other bands,
Yeah.
yeah. Most drummers right here are like kind of freelance or just kind
Or
of
they've got a side business doing screen doors or bouncy houses or something, they're
right,
too
right,
eager.
right. To stay afloat.
Yeah. So what Chris did was actually pretty cool. He found a drummer that nobody else really knew was a drummer.
Ramon.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people might know Ramon because I did a podcast with him. And so did he have so just so people know he just started drumming like just recently or
Yeah,
had he been drumming?
he's been drumming since he was a kid.
Oh,
He
okay.
just never, yeah, he just never really. Well, I mean, it's his story to tell, but he never really got into like actually doing it, like being a musician full time or whatever. He got into other stuff, and so we'd go over there and jam with him. He'd play and like he'd play. When they did the Biscuit Live, he and I were the quote unquote house band, and we would just mess around, play jam in between, bits or whatever.
Right.
And so I, always kind of knew that he played drums, but now he's like really, really getting into it, and he's getting really, really good.
Yeah, I could oh he's getting good. That's so cool. Yeah, I could tell he's like been very excited about it. Like it's this
Yeah.
is something that's so cool. So
So
he's
he's the
getting
kind of
good,
guy
huh?
who, like really gets into something. When he gets into it, he gets crazy into it, and
Yeah, it's exciting.
yeah, and goes all the way. And we were sitting at the Iron Oak open mic last Tuesday, and he's just kind of sitting there at the bar, and I'm watching him on the bar, and he's drumming on the bar, doing, you
Oh
know,
wow.
and I'm like,
Yeah.
yeah, he's a drummer now,
Yeah.
just not getting things.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's in it. That's so
yeah,
cool.
yeah, he's super into it. It's cool. It's cool to see.
Yeah, he's a good guy. So
Yeah,
yeah,
man.
so yeah, I saw a video of him drumming. He's like he's
Hmm.
he's he's got it. Like he's a natural.
Yeah,
Good
I
for
love playing
Ramon.
with him. I've been playing music a long time,
Oh yeah, so you've
and
been playing with Tank Top, right?
yeah, yeah.
How long have you been playing with him? I know nothing.
Well, we did. I did one show with those guys last January. Last
Okay.
not Yeah, last January, and then we had a bunch of other shows book that we were gonna do, and that ended up not happening. Um, and because of COVID. And then in June, when everybody kind of thought that COVID was over, that hit, there was a Black Lives Matter protest at or a benefit at Iron Oak, and we played that.
Yeah, I remember that. That was exciting times. Like
Yeah.
everyone thought it was over. Like I saw everyone out because of the protests. I'm like, oh, I
Mhm.
guess COVID's done. That's thank God about that.
Yeah, well, that was weird. That whole
And
thing was everything's better now.
I thought I could will it away.
Yeah. And then we've done a couple of shows this year. So yeah, there haven't been a lot of shows, but yeah, we've been,
Right.
I've been practicing with those guys a lot.
That's cool.
They're doing a bunch of stuff in the studio. I've been on a couple of things in the studio, but
Right.
uh, the studio's a mixed bag. Uh,
It's funny because I was listening to an old podcast that you, Chris, and Ramon did, and you guys were talking about you and Chris were talking about jamming, and like I could hear like Ramon getting like jealous. Like he was actually I could hear it, and it was like he was like super
Really?
jealous. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. And no,
yeah.
and you guys like talked about it because you could tell he was like he felt like left out. So
Oh,
I'm sure he's in heaven now.
yeah. He's having a great time. You can
It's such a
tell.
good band. Tank Top is like the so JC and Chris, do they write the songs together?
Yeah, that's their
Because
band.
it's crazy. It's so catchy. Like all their songs are super, super
They're
catchy.
they're both uh just really incredible songwriters,
Yeah, they really are. It's insane.
and so like there are definitely songs that are his, and there are songs that are hers.
Right.
But they bring him to each other, and they kind of help each other make them better. They're just a really really good team. And I've been in bands before with husband and wife duos, and you sometimes you end up like you end up like sitting at the dinner table and mom and dad are fighting, and you're like, Christ, here we go.
This is
But
not rock and roll.
this is the
This is
least fucking rock and
PTSD.
roll, right? But we don't.
This is the opposite of what I'm trying to do.
Right.
Trying to escape here.
Hmm.
So
But
this is a good dynamic then.
yeah, this is yeah,
Yeah.
it's really cool. We've been practicing at my house, because I got the big room out front, and
Yeah, I saw that room.
yeah,
It's like just a big jam room, right?
yeah. Well, it's like a kind of like a living room, I guess, or I don't know what you would call it. Um, but there's actually a fireplace in that room that I've never used.
Oh, really? It's a working
Yeah,
fireplace?
it's a working fireplace as
Oh
far as I know.
shit, light it up. It's been
Yeah.
cold at night.
Well, my other living room has a fireplace too, so I've been using that fireplace. But I was like, who puts two fireplaces in a house? That makes no sense.
In Florida.
In Florida, exactly.
Better have a backup.
It's my
In case you have a
backup.
long winter.
So I just stack guitars on it, on
Nice.
the front of it.
And then you
So
have you bought open mics, like house drum set, right?
yeah, and
And that's in that room, right?
that's what we practice on.
Nice. It's
I think
iconic.
Mike sold it to this guy. I don't know his name, but they call him Uncle Sean, and he's like just deals. He's a drum dealer,
Yeah.
and he uh he I think he sold it to Wickham Road Music, and then
Mm.
Wickham Road Music posted it on Instagram at like 8 in the morning, and I'm sitting there scrolling, and I'm like, oh fuck, they've got the open mic drum kit. So I went down there. They opened at noon. I went down there. I was down there at like 11:30. Just basically make sure nobody else got it. I didn't want anybody else to get it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
You
so I'm
snatched
kind of
it.
just holding on to it.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
Um, how much was it?
Well, let's see. I paid 8 for it,
Wow.
which yeah, I paid. I was at the retail end of the. I didn't get the pro deal on it. I should have bought it directly from Mike, but I didn't.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, that would have been ideal. You had to
Mhm.
go the uncut gems route.
Uh, yeah, and And but you know, I didn't want it to end up with. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to be like overly sentimental about it, but it's, you know, it's a
It's
piece
pretty
of history.
iconic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a piece of history,
It's just
and
like, yeah, it really is. It's in all those pictures. Like ever
exactly.
yeah,
What
definitely yeah. It's I'm so yeah, I was so happy when I saw that you got it. I was like, fuck yeah. That's
I wanted it to stay in the family, and
yes.
my intention was that um, I would just hold on to it until somebody better came along and wanted it. You know what I mean? Like I
Right.
don't really play drums. I mess around, but I don't really play drums. I actually own 2 drum kits and don't play drums.
Oh, really? But you've
Yeah.
been learning a little bit over like the quarantine.
Yeah, I
Sure.
took I took lessons from Randy Crouch. Do you remember him?
Don't know the name, but
Randy was he was the guy at open mics, the short older guy, who was the drum teacher there. Um,
okay.
yeah, anyway, I've known that guy since I was like 18 years old. He was friends with my dad. And
Oh wow.
yeah, and so I took drum lessons from him a couple of years ago for about 9 or 10 months. But so I can get by, like I can, you know, if I sit down on the drum kit, I can make it sound okay. But it's just one of those things that you just really, really got to get into it to be really good at it, you know.
Mhm. Yep.
And
You kinda
and
gotta obsess about it for a little bit when you're learning
yeah,
drums, yeah.
yeah. And I had too many other things going on at the time. I was like doing my own recording stuff, and it's just kind of one of those things. Like, all right, well, how much time am I gonna really put into becoming a drummer? You know?
Right, right, right.
Yeah,
Well, yeah, it's fun just to mess around on a drum
yeah,
set anyway.
yeah. So I bought at right about that time. I bought Nathan Thorpe was selling the drum kit from that he played with Burger Patrol. I don't know if you remember Burger Patrol. Were you around back
No.
then? Okay.
No, I was there for Hot Dog. Was it Hot Dog Force?
Yeah, Hot Dog Force
Was it the
was
same dudes?
they were like rival bands.
Of
And
course.
yeah, it was all put on, of course, but
I love that.
yeah, so he was selling the kit, and he had like it has like this like hand painted uh front drum head of a burger,
Right.
just a burger on it.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and I'm like, no, I'm leaving that on
Oh, yeah.
there.
Of course. Oh, so
So I
that's your second
collect
set, yeah.
I collect pieces of. I guess I'm gonna start collecting pieces of Brevard County musical uh, history.
Yeah,
I'll
you
just
can
start a museum one
yeah, little local museum.
day. uh,
Nice. Yeah, those
yeah,
are 2 iconic sets.
yeah. One Ramon has the Burger Patrol one at his house.
Oh, he does? Oh,
He
nice.
practices on that, and then the open mic skit is in my house.
Nice. It's
Yeah,
gotta kill him when his, daughters go to sleep and he can't play.
yeah, yeah, yeah. We we practice over here at all weird hours. Um, Luckily, my neighbors are pretty cool with it. My daughter is still living at home for now. Um, she's not always the biggest fan of it, but I pay the bills, so.
Right. Put in some headphones and
Yeah,
deal.
exactly.
You'll get through it.
Yep. Yeah.
So what else has been I wanted to ask you, you said that didn't you say that you're the biggest high you ever got? Like you wait, so first of all, you write songs, but you have only performed them like several times, right?
Um, so I actually have really only or only performed my own songs a handful of times.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it for you? Is it just like you just like creating the music? You just don't have any interest in like really the
I think it,
performance?
I think it was probably more, um maybe not that I didn't have the interest, but maybe that I didn't have the. I was always through because I've been playing music for, oh fuck man, probably 30 years now.
Yeah.
And it I I always liked helping other people with their stuff. Like I like being part of a team and making, making somebody's
Yeah.
thing. Like, hey,
Better.
here's the
Yeah.
song that I wrote, and then like, hey, what can I do to, do my part to make your thing sound better. When I was writing my own stuff, I never really had the, because I was always around so many great
You're a
songwriters.
producer.
Yeah, and I was always good at that. But then when it came to writing and doing my own stuff, I was always around so many great songwriters all the time that it was almost like, oh, these guys are really good, and my stuff is only okay. You know how
Yeah.
you always think your stuff is the worst around. You know what
Oh,
I
of
mean?
course. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
You're like full of shit and everyone else is like actually has it and you're faking it, that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Mhm. Imposter
Yeah.
syndrome.
Yes. Yeah. And that's normal when you're around other talented people
It
because
is.
like you just see like you pay attention to the parts where they're better than you and you're like, oh boy.
Mhm.
So it was a little bit of intimidation then for
Yeah, I mean, it was less intimidation and more utilitarian. It was like, okay,
all
well,
right.
I don't know if I'm any good at this songwriting thing. I don't know if my material's any good, and I don't know if anybody's going to want to hear it. But what I do know is that people, seem to respond well when I play bass or play guitar or do whatever on other people's stuff. So let me just do that, and because that's a sure thing.
Right, right,
Doing
right,
my
right.
own stuff is going out on a limb. So I guess in a way it's like sort of hiding behind other people's talent in a way, you know.
Right, and you saw that, okay, there's plenty of people with talent, so
Mhm.
maybe the best I could do, how I can help the most is just jumping on. Yeah, and but you're really good at that. Like that's kind of like what you do with Tank Top, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean, if yeah, it's like, I guess a good metaphor would be, like if you're making a movie. You have the writers and the director and the producers, and it's their movie, they're writing the screenplay. And then you have people who are just actors, and I guess they bring the best that they can. They bring their personality or their
right,
brand
right,
to that role or whatever. And that's sort of what I'm doing. I mean, it's Chris and JC are writing everything. It's their band. It's their project. I'll go in. I'll say, okay, well, they'll say, here's the song or here's the script. I'll do whatever I think sounds good there, or whatever my interpretation of it is. If they like it, they won't say anything, and if they want me to do something different, then I'll get notes. Um,
right.
or a lot of times, Chris will just write the bass part himself and go, "Hey, play this part." And, okay, cool. You know, so
Mhm.
it's very much in that capacity. It's very much just sort of being an actor. You know,
Right, right,
you get
right,
a book
right,
handed to you, and you say, and you give your take on it.
right. And you can still sometimes do your own thing, but
Hmm.
also you're taking some direction.
Yeah,
Obviously, yeah,
exactly. Yeah, but whereas
that's fun.
with my own stuff, um, which I've done like 3 albums now of my own stuff, but I think you mentioned earlier, like being around other creative people, it it is easy to look at especially when you're around a shitload of other talented people, and
Yeah,
go, oh my god, they're great, they're great, they're
yeah.
great.
It's an
I'm
intimidating feeling.
it is
It's
a little.
enough to make you want to hide because it's like, oh no, I
Hmm.
don't belong here. It's like
Hmm.
yeah,
But the truth is that, of course, obviously, we all know the truth is that everybody's good in their own way, and everybody's got their strengths, and everybody's just kind of got their own unique thing.
yeah,
And I think once I started hanging around with more creators, I was like, oh shit, okay, well, it really is okay for me to be myself. And the fact that I don't do this as well, or maybe the fact that, you know, this sounds a little weird when I do this, it's all sort of part of who I am, and it's okay, you know? And once you kind
Yeah.
of start letting that mentality in, it's been about probably 2 years now that I just started letting myself write and record and just be okay with it and not, worry about comparing it or worrying about what the product was. Like, hey, who's going to listen to this? What's this for? What am I going for here? Instead of just enjoying the process, just being like, I'm just going to do this for its own sake,
Yes.
you know, rather than why am I doing this for some kind of purpose? Doing it for its own sake, because you like doing it.
Yeah. And that's the best way to go about it, because otherwise it will drive you crazy if you compare what you're doing to other people, and that's like basically what will make you not happy is when you do that.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
yeah, it's like
And
I
that's
feel like
anything in life.
if you can if you can figure that out, how to just create without, and also, like, what better place to grow than being around people that are good at the thing that you want to be good at?
That's
Like,
very true.
it's exactly where you want to be. It's
Hmm.
like,
Yeah. Yeah. Being around Chris, especially because he is so prolific. And he, I mean, he just writes all the time because, and he's not writing for any other reason other than the fact that he just likes to write. And
right.
we don't have similar writing styles at all. But just being around somebody who creates so aggressively, and unapologetically, it's cool. It's like, okay, I can do that too,
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting to have, like, when someone creates like that, where they get excited about it
Hmm.
and they become kind of like a machine,
Yeah.
but
And
still a
they just
passion
don't
behind it.
care. Yeah, and they just don't care like what other people think about it, or what it just no, it doesn't really seem to enter into it, you know.
Hmm.
Um, it just happens very naturally, and that's something that's definitely worth emulating, I think.
Absolutely. That's very true in comedy too. You have to not care what you think other people want. You really have to make yourself happy. Um
I
because
bet
there
it's true. It's true in comedy even more than music, probably.
maybe, yeah, because especially now, most like the successful comedians are the comedians that are like showing themselves the most and showing like vulnerable sides of themselves and
Yeah,
being unapologetic and being very raw, and those are the comics that are succeeding. So yeah, I think,
vulnerability and authenticity are important in comedy to me. I think
yeah,
as a fan.
yes, as comedy fans, and that's, they can see, I mean, you can see through someone who's not being authentic,
Yeah,
or doesn't believe in their jokes. So yeah, it's definitely true in yeah, I think so, maybe even more in
yeah,
comedy. Is that true?
yeah. I have I mean, I've been hanging around with the comedy open mics and shows for 4 or 5 years now, and I've kind of just always had this sort of, it's almost like when I hang out with comics, it's almost like Ramon on that podcast. That you were talking about earlier, like I hear comics talking about this, talking about this set or that set or this place or that place, and I'm kind of like, oh, I'm like, I want
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, you said the time you felt most alive on a stage is during the Mike Della Chopa roast, right? When you were
Dude, I had such a good time, like, and that was funny too because it
Isn't
was
it
like,
amazing? Yeah.
oh my god, it was so good. And he sat down at the Mike had sat down at the bar and told me, it's just, I want you to do this for me. We're doing a roast. I want you to do the thing. I'm like, I mean, all right, I guess. Like, who else is? And he names like he names off like all the best comics around, in my opinion. And then there's me, and Nathan.
Damn.
It's like, all right, I guess.
Yeah.
Um, but and so I sat down, and the writing part of it was fun. The writing part of it was pretty easy because I think when you have something that you are writing about, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but if you've got like something that you're writing about, the material is really easy. it took me a couple days to write all my jokes about it.
Yeah, for sure. For roast, because one, you're probably excited about it and you're like gathering jokes. So then two, yeah, it's almost like having a homework assignment. Like you kind of know once
Yeah,
you know what you want to make fun of or whatever, you're just kind
it's a
of
prompt.
yeah. It definitely
Yeah.
yeah, it's definitely a lot easier. So you just kind of sat down and just started writing jokes or
Yeah, I just kind of sat down, started coming up with stuff. I think Chris sat with me on a couple of things, and I showed him some of my stuff. But what's up? I already fed him. Yeah, yeah. You can give him a sweet potato though if you want, if they're still hungry. Like chop it up. No, I'll buy more. Um,
sweet potato,
it's
huh?
dog feeding time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, no, just chop it up raw. I give it to him. That's my daughter, everybody.
Oh,
She's
feeding the dog
22.
yeah.
She's 22 and she's looking for jobs in Seattle. She's fixing to fly the coop.
Wow.
Yep.
Big move.
Yep. And then yeah, then I'll be all by my lonesome.
All by your
Um,
lonesome.
but yeah, that was fun. Uh, I wasn't nervous at all.
Oh, you
Uh,
weren't?
no, not
I was
really.
super nervous, especially the first roast I did. I was really nervous. So
Were you?
but you were really like, did it help that you're with like all your friends basically?
That's what because it felt like I was just hanging out with, it felt like I was hanging out with people I liked, and also,
Right. And you had
now
people on the
I was
stage
gonna
with
pick on
you.
one person. Yeah, like I was just sitting there. Um, I was just kind of just sitting there hanging. It was like hanging out with, it was like just kind of hanging out with everybody. Uh,
Right.
except the fact that I was kind of, it's like, oh shit, now I have to be funny like everybody else. But either it was either Chris or Ramon. One of them said to me, like, you really don't. Nobody's expecting you to like come up here and be a pro. Like you're a musician and how to. And so what I did was I actually wrote a song for Mike that was like, I don't know, it was like 2.5 minutes long.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and it was just kind of all. It was just kind of just shitting a little song that was shitting all over Mike, and
Nice.
that was the last like 2 minutes of my set was a little song.
Oh, sweet. So you did like just basic roasting stuff and then
Yeah,
ended it with a song. Nice.
yeah, yeah. And I said that was the most fun I had on stage that whole year was that roast.
Right.
It was really really cool. About a month before that was when I played my own original material for the first time on
Yeah,
stage.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah,
Yeah, that was exciting.
I was nervous about that for sure.
Yeah, I remember that as well, but
Yeah.
it was so good and your original music is so good.
Oh, thanks, man. It's quirky and weird, and it's kind of like showing people your underwear in a way. It's like
Yeah.
like
So
hey
like
guys,
your
it's Batman Underoos. This is me.
right. So is it like your music pretty personal to you then?
Yeah, it really is. It's
Oh, it
almost like
is? Yeah.
it's very personal. It's
Oh,
like
wow.
yeah, it's. I mean, I wrote like a whole album of stuff that's just basically divorce rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like my
Oh,
marriage is
wow.
falling
So like
apart.
yeah. Oh, so you like so that kind of personal like you write about like actual like stuff that's happened in your life.
Yeah,
Oh,
and I would even write about stuff that was happening that I didn't really know was happening. So for a little while there, I was really, really tuned into, all right, well, this is just sort of stream of consciousness stuff. And then I would record it and then I would go back like a year later and go, oh well, now I know this is what's
wow.
going on, you know.
Yeah.
This is a guy who, this is a marriage that is falling apart or whatever it is. I just kind of didn't really know it at the time.
Mm.
It's spooky when that happens. You start going, all right,
Yeah, that's like it's like a musical diary.
It
because
is.
like at times that I've written a diary, and I can pinpoint where I was when I wrote the entry. I'm like, holy shit, that's like some raw shit. And you
Yeah.
don't realize how raw and how consequential some of the stuff you're writing is
Yeah.
until a year later when you're, oh wow, yep, that's
Wow.
the
I was
shit I
going
was
through,
in. I didn't,
I
yeah,
was going through some shit at
because
that
you're right
point.
in the middle of it at the time.
Mhm.
So it's hard to identify exactly what's going on.
Yeah, it is, and a lot of it was kind of ethereal, like lyric wise. It wasn't something that you could look at, and it wasn't like a country song, like straightforward. You know, it was
Right, right,
like
right.
it was there was a lot of metaphor, and it was just kind of ethereal. And so at the time, I was like, oh, this these words sound cool together. All right, dun, 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 cool, cool. And then then it like I said, it's a year later. You go back and go, oh shit, okay, that's what I was talking about there. Like, it's really it's like I said, it's some Ouija board shit. It's kind of creepy in a way. It's like, oh my god. But I was delving into my own psyche there. It was weird. But
Yeah,
it's not so I never really felt compelled to go out and show that to people because I just didn't really think that it
right.
was gonna be anything that anybody really wanted to hear.
Exactly. And it probably because it was so personal that you're like, it's almost like sharing like a journal entry. Like just,
But
hey
like you said a minute
guys.
ago, yeah, vulnerability is important though,
Yeah. Oh yeah. People, I mean, that's what people can, I mean, when I listen to music, what I'm looking for is to latch on to some emotion. I'm looking to write an emotion or create an emotion or or experience
Yeah,
something. If
yeah.
I'm working out, I want something to make me feel like I'm stronger or I have more energy.
Uh-huh.
If I'm sad, I want a song that's gonna help me cry. Like
Yeah,
latch onto that. Forgot
yeah,
where I was going with that, but you know what I mean.
yeah. No, that's I guess that's true. I guess it really is important. And so since I
People
actually
like vulnerability.
they
Um,
do. Yeah.
so yeah, when people see that, and if people see that live,
Mhm.
it's extra special.
Yeah.
Um,
I'd love to do it again. Especially now that I've written more stuff and gotten more comfortable singing
that's what
and
I was gonna ask if you're gonna plan on doing another solo kind of
what
set.
I what I always liked, I think what I like best is the way so it's I guess it's called like a Nashville round or whatever, but it's the way the songwriter nights at Mike's were. Like you would bring four songwriters up on stage. The night I did
Oh
it,
yeah,
me, Chris, JC, and Sydney Taylor was there. So there were four of us, and we just kind of you just kind of take turns talking about your song and whatever, and singing it.
yes, yes, yes. I love that's a solid setup. The way they did that, it's
It
perfect.
is too, and it's good because especially if you're not secure, if you're you know you're going to be listened to, you're pretty sure that you're going to be received well.
Right.
It's the exact venue that
People
because
are
the
going to be
people who are
gentle. No one's going to boo
yeah
you.
people who are coming, this is what they're coming for. They're coming
Yeah.
to hear. I
It
wouldn't go
was
down to
super
like
intimate. Intimate.
yeah
It was like it
exactly
was a very cozy feeling and it was a very warm crowd for sure.
yeah like I wouldn't go
Uh,
down Squid Lips and go, hey, here's a song I wrote about my feelings for my dog. It's
right.
like
Oh yeah. So
but
sweet.
but it's like you know yes it's it's like a good comedy room, that people came there to hear comedy, they came there to listen,
Right, right, right. That's
so
very
they
it
feel
was
comfortable.
like a comedy night, but for music that night. Like
That's exactly what it
everyone,
was.
yes, yeah, it was that warm kind of feeling where like
Yeah,
people are want to be on your side and they're like
yeah,
all about you.
yeah,
And they're all
yeah.
yeah, like yeah, it's so funny how yeah, it would be so different doing it at Squid Lips or any place like it'd be
Anywhere
impossible,
you go
right?
down to
Something
Gregory's
that could
and
oh
do
my
a set,
gosh.
it's like no, hopefully not. How about not?
No, no, it's so hard to create. a good energy in such a in shit environments.
Well, I mean, it's
But
Brevard County is
yeah,
what it is. I think, I think people here don't know what anything is.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
it's like, what the hell is this? What the hell's going on?
yeah.
I can
Play
go
play
into a
Hootie.
comedy show and have my mom's 70th birthday party and right in front of the stage, and it's totally fine.
Yeah,
You're up there trying to do your art, but I'm trying to order cheese sticks.
right.
It's
Basically, sometimes like when crowds come to a comedy show, if it's like a group of like 10, 7-year-old woman or a big group, like basically they think like, okay guys, just so you all know, this show, we're gonna be part of this. This is our show tonight.
I
So
know.
like it's
uh
they can like, wow, it's tough. Yeah.
there's nothing worse than that. and
It's
i
tough
and I,
to
like I said, I've been coming to see comedy for a long time now, and it just hurts me inside when I see that happen. I'm like, and I can spot them now. I'm like, oh god, this one's gonna be a pain in the ass.
uh-huh.
I
Yeah,
remember you
yeah.
swore into somebody one night at Iron Oak not too long ago. I forget.
Oh,
That
I
was so
lost
great.
my yeah. Yeah, I lost my cool a little bit.
It was great though. It
Yeah,
needed to happen.
yeah, it did have to happen. She was just obnoxiously, well, there was 2 different people. There was 2 different times. There was one with Sophia, the girl that
Okay,
I
that's the one I
brought.
remember.
Yeah, okay, so that was so with Sophia, this is a girl that I brought to the comedy show.
Yeah.
She came to see me.
And I didn't know that while you were saying it. I thought she was a random.
Yeah, so the girl that I bring to the comedy show starts heckling me, and not just talking. First, just talking to your friend, and then just straight up heckling and being difficult with me, and no one knows that I brought her. So, so I'm like trying to, because like I want her to shut up, but I also want to have sex with her. So like I'm trying to like be gentle. Like I really is like the whole reason I like she's here is because I want her to come back to. So I knew like, and I knew the kind of person she was, that if I just shut her down and was shitty, because I knew no one else knew that I knew her, that if I did
Yeah.
that, there's 0% chance she was gonna have sex with me or come back to my place or anything. So I knew. So like, yeah, I think everyone was kind of waiting for me to rip her a new asshole, but I didn't want to do that until later on in the night.
I think finding out later that you're the one who brought her was the tag on the whole thing.
Yeah, you guys enjoyed that when you found that out. Oh my
Best.
gosh, that was terrible, man. Yeah, and she's just one of those girls that it really, it was very difficult for her not to be the center of attention.
Yeah.
And I think for her to see me being the center of attention, when usually the setup was that, she spoke and I listened. So I
Yeah.
don't think she liked the dynamic when it was switched to I was talking and everyone was listening to me.
Oh,
So
yeah. Yeah.
it didn't
Bad
sit
girlfriend
with
for a
her.
comic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like she was like the exact, like the very last type of girl that I should have been involved with, because like we wanted this exact same thing. We were both just two, hey, look at me, people.
Yeah. Yeah.
That
Too many marshmallows in the Lucky Charms. Not enough oats.
Yeah, we was too sweet. Wait, we were too sweet.
So what kind of girl is the kind of girl who works out well for dating a comic, a
Oh
male comic,
man.
or well, you know what I mean?
Well, I haven't found one yet, so I'd be guessing. But no, so like
Have the formula yet?
they have to understand the crazy part. Like they have to, the baseline has to be that, okay, this person, as much as he's hiding it, this person's out of his fucking mind. Like
Oh yeah,
so
yeah,
like I guess I'm talking more specifically about me. So that has to be like, you have to, but I think a lot of comics, just from, I mean, I we listen to podcasts. A lot of comics are pretty fucked up. So I
Yeah.
think that's, so to date a comic, or at least a comic that's mentally ill, you have to be okay with that. And then, so that's a big one. Obviously, have a sense of humor. I think you
Yeah.
gotta. I think you have to like think the person's funny.
Yeah.
That helps. And I
Yeah.
think I think you both have to find each other funny.
Yeah.
But and then the tough part is that, like, ideally, if chaos didn't ensue, it would be someone that was kind of like meant, I mean, not, also maybe a little mentally unstable, but it's always just a disaster. I don't know. It's tough. I haven't found anyone that's been, I mean, I don't know. Like the girl Ashley, she seemed pretty, she kind of got me pretty well, and
Yeah.
that was going well. And then I fucked that up. I didn't completely. I'll read you the, let me just read you the text. We might as well
Okay.
so so I don't think I told you really any of what happened. What um like, things were going pretty well, and we're, it was kind of, it was casual, but we liked each other. Like, I liked her, and I can tell that she liked me, but
Hmm.
I didn't, we never really talked about it ever. And
Yeah.
then, but I wanted to talk about it, but I never could. And then I had a moment where I was talking to my mom, and she was telling me about her friend who was like getting super sick, and she's like all fragile, and she's like towards, she has cancer, and like
Okay.
she's towards the end of her life. And then like I couldn't handle that feeling, so I got off the phone. And then I'm like, what am I doing with my life? I'm wasting my time with someone who doesn't even like me. And I messaged her. I'm like, listen, Ashley, uh I think I like you a lot more than you like me, and I think I just have to keep trucking right now. And I don't think we should talk to each other or see each other again. And then that was it. I just sent that. And then it was a moment, I was like manic. Not I was like not in a good place at the time. And like immediately, like maybe like 2 hours later, I regretted it. I'm like, what the fuck did I just do? And
Yeah.
instead of like trying to send a text explaining it, I didn't do anything until like 4 days. I think it was like 2 days ago. I messaged her trying to like fix me, basically saying, don't ever talk to me again.
Yeah.
I tried to like George Costanza it, like quit and then like show up to work the next day.
Right.
uh and basically I'm like, I know, obviously, like, I'm sorry for what I said. It was a knee-jerk reaction, and I didn't really mean it. And um and then I sent it, and then
How'd
I'm
that
like,
go?
I wake up to this, her saying, Jimmy, I really did like you, but I'm sorry I made you feel insecure. But one thing that does hurt me is someone pushing me aside. It happened to me a lot. I don't play the hot and cold game well because I don't let myself get hurt anymore. At this point, I think it's best that we stay friends or acquaintances, or whatever you feel comfortable with. I'm not angry with you. I'm not, I'm just not letting myself get hurt or disappointed. Please, next girl you're with, just talk to her about this stuff, because you are a great guy and you'll make someone very happy one day. Don't
Wow.
just leave because you feel one way without having a conversation.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh boy. But
Wow.
like, I can't feel this. I'm a clown. I can't feel sorry for myself. I mean, I shot myself in in the foot and then complained that it was bleeding,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
fucked myself, and I'm used to that because I've sabotaged many like good relationships literally for no reason other than I'm a spaz. So
Hank it. Yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
So it's pretty brutal, right? I'm in a brutal spot, right? I'm feeling sorry for myself right now, but I'll get a but I
Well,
can't, like, you know what I mean? I'm an idiot. I wrote back, I understand. I never meant to push you aside, and all that stuff.
well, I think that you were probably, it sounds like you were true to yourself. You know what I mean? Like you felt a certain way, especially with the with the expectations about what you were looking for from the relationship. You specifically, you liking her more than she liked you. You know what I mean? And you felt that, and you addressed it. I mean, that's something that it did need to be addressed. Maybe she was right. Maybe it's a conversation rather than a decision or a proclamation. You know what I mean? Maybe that's a conversation you have, and maybe
Yeah.
you take that going forward. She makes a good point.
Yeah, no, she does. It's good advice to have a conversation, because yeah, it didn't have to be me making a decision. It could have been me, because maybe she did like me as much as I liked her.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm ever gonna find out, but
Yeah. Yeah, who knows? Maybe you will. Um, but the lesson is there. The lesson is there,
the
and
lesson is there, and I think I learned it this time, because instead of just running away, I came back. I was pretty sure I was pretty sure I wasn't going to she wasn't going to be like, "Oh, okay, yeah, well, I'll give it a pass this time." He's just
right,
out of
right,
nowhere telling me to go fuck myself.
yeah,
Um, but I'm still bummed out about it.
yeah, and it is a bummer, but something to think about is that when when you're having a relationship and you you want to make it work, then I don't know how far along you guys were, but it when something like that happens, you know you work, in my opinion, you work through it. In my opinion, you go, okay, well, and I've had to deal with this a couple of times recently, um where okay, I'm a knee jerk guy too. I because I feel and sometimes I act on it without really
Right.
thinking it through,
You have a
or I'll
moment
say
of
something without really.
realization.
Yeah, and so I've done that a couple times where I've been like, just raw feelings, not really any brain being put to use there. But the reception there is usually, okay, well, you just said some stuff that I don't really feel like you were thinking about. So do you want to try that again? Yeah, okay, all right, let's try that again. Okay, what do you really think? All right, cool. And then a real conversation gets had. Um, Luckily, that whole thing happens with somebody who's incredibly patient and kind. Um,
Yeah.
but but the conversation is really. I guess my point is that if somebody's interested, I think if somebody's interested in pursuing a relationship and really into it, that they'll work through little things like that. Yeah, you were reactive. Yeah, you did a thing. Yeah, I mean, maybe you didn't handle that whole situation in an ideal way, but when is anything ever going to be ideal ever? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right. I think there's yeah, I mean, I was frustrated, and yeah, I wanted to have that conversation, and I don't know. Yeah, you're absolutely right. I don't know. It's like and then like I tried to like I said I never meant to push you aside. I had some extremely bad news that day. And then
Mhm.
I texted you, and for some reason I thought I needed to push everyone away. It was knee jerk. So that's like the thing about like dating a, comedian or whatever is like, um someone that can handle me telling them to go fuck themselves and
Yeah.
then messaging them 4 days later and saying, hey, never mind. But
Yeah.
yeah, but
Well, it's for me, it's been the buzzword has been, the keyword has been emotional reactivity. So like and I know
yeah,
this doesn't probably, and when I've mentioned this to people, it doesn't really, because my friends kind of know me as sort of even keel, but when you get into relationship land, I kind of like, "Ah!"
yeah, 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 yeah,
and
yeah.
because it's a little more raw and it's a little closer, and so managing that is, it's something. It sucks to say it, and I don't really know how to say it in the way that doesn't sound like it's just a fucking abusive relationship, but but you really do have to find somebody who is who can watch you go through that process of just raw bullshit and
Right.
understand that you have to go through that, you know?
Right. Because I think like, because like what this was in my way was a breakthrough for me. You know
Was
what I
it?
mean? It was done in a terrible way, but it was my way of saying, okay, I finally want to talk about how I actually feel about you and maybe say it out loud. And that was my
Yeah,
way of doing it. Was
yeah,
basically not even, you know what I mean? But yeah, like
yeah,
someone that could be someone that like, okay, could hear my explanation of why I did this. And if she actually believed me, then give me a, a
yeah.
second chance. But if she
Yeah,
didn't buy my bullshit, then of course she could tell me to go fuck off.
and
But
it's
I
not
need
even second chances. It's just chance after chance after chance. Like, you know, maybe every 3 or 4 days. It's hypothetically speaking, it's like, okay, well, maybe we didn't handle that so great. So what are we gonna do about that? All right, let's handle that differently this time.
right,
Okay.
right, right, right. Because you kind of know you have to handle a difficult, like in a good relationship, you kind of, it's like you kind of see what works and what doesn't. So like if something doesn't work the first time, you try it a different way the second time.
Yeah, I mean, if you're interested in moving, if both people are interested in moving forward in any kind of way, then it really is like a building process. It really is like a, okay, well, we had this happen, and it turned into an argument, and either, so that argument can either be the end of the relationship where you just go fuck you, no fuck you, and whatever, or you go okay, what's our protocol going forward when this happens.
Right, right, right.
But it's like we were talking about a little while back, being able to have, it's like the fog of war, in a relationship. So
Yeah,
sometimes it's like, well, I don't want to show my hand by saying how into this relationship I am in, or how into it I'm not, or I don't want to tip my hand, and then with the fear that the other person's not going to reciprocate, or whatever. So I'm going to kind of hang back and watch, and so both people are kind of going, ugh, just hanging back and kind of watching, versus being able to just sit down over breakfast and go, hey, this is what I'm looking for in a relationship, or hey, these are my expectations. This is what I'm looking for, and have those open conversations. It goes back to vulnerability, like in art,
yeah, 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 yeah. To be able to, oh man, how nice would that be? Just to be able
Yeah.
to sit down and say casually. But I think the sooner you establish good communication and relationship, the better.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah.
longer you wait, the harder it is
Yeah.
because you just get so used to leaving things unspoken.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, it's just like, I mean, yeah, it could have been as easy as me saying like, so I like you. I never
Yeah,
told her like I never told her that. But
yeah.
well, yes, I have. But I never had like that moment where I'm like, hey, I really like you.
Like, I want to move forward with this. You know,
Yeah,
like I see, or some, maybe not even something that pressure, but something along the lines of, I, I really see a lot of potential here. I really see something. So it feels like something good's happening. Or do you agree? And that's super vulnerable place to put yourself. It's like going
yeah,
out and
it's
doing your
terrifying to
comedy, or
me.
doing your songs, your dumb songs that you write in your bedroom that you thought nobody would ever hear.
Right.
It's the same kind of vulnerability. It's like, I like you, do you like me? But
Yeah.
you got to do it. It's terrifying, but you have to.
Yeah,
Because it's
because
authentic.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's like and she was and yeah, it's uncomfortable, but it's like, why would anyone want to be in the dark?
Yeah,
And usually if you open up to someone, they'll open up back. I think
yeah,
with this girl, she wasn't gonna ever open up unless I did first, I think.
yeah,
And I think we were both hurt in the past. Like I think a lot.
yeah,
I think we're two injured birds. And
yeah,
and we were both afraid to, I think, even try to communicate what was I don't think we either of us had much of, at the time, in the midst of everything, have an
mm,
interest in actually talking about, okay, what is this? We're spending all this time together, and we're
yeah,
sleeping over. It's like a big deal when a girl sleeps over for me.
yeah.
Like it's because I don't want it. There's uh there's
Go
this
away.
there's this moment where most girls, if they spend the night, where I'm like, I need you out of my, I I need this house to myself. Like I
Yeah,
need you to leave. And and I didn't get that with her ever. So that was special.
really.
And she said the same thing to me. Like she said, we said things, we definitely said like things that like made it, let each other know that we liked each other. Because she
Uh-huh.
said like it's so hard for me to sleep, and I sleep so well with you, because she's an insomniac.
Hmm.
And she told me, she's like, I sleep so well with you, like I'll just like sleep and I'll go. So like we definitely felt comfortable with each other.
Those are little
Yeah.
things. Like those are little things those are big conversations in little packages. Her saying that to you was significant. That wasn't a minor throwaway thing.
I
That meant
didn't think,
something. But those are really
yeah.
good. You know?
Yeah, I was wondering if that was because I always thought about that. Like
Mm,
when she said that, I thought about it all the time.
yeah,
Because I felt the same way. It's like we definitely yeah, we definitely trusted each other until I
yeah.
did that. uh it, there's always a moment for me where like I'll I'll blow the head off of the fairy tale portion of a relationship.
Do you ever feel like when things are going really well that you're waiting for the other shoe to drop? Is that a feeling that you're familiar with?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's always, when is this gonna be over? Like when me and me, me and this girl we're like having those nights where it's just, you're just madly just obsessed with each other. In the back of
Mhm.
my head, it's like, it's gonna suck when this part's done. It's gonna
Yeah,
suck when this is over. This,
yeah,
because it's gonna be over.
yeah.
That kind of excitement, and like that kind of joy, where your brain is just like fucking going
Mhm,
nuts with happiness,
mhm.
that's gonna go
Yeah,
away. Yeah, yeah. It's always in the back of my head.
yeah, I feel that way from when, just from childhood, growing up, kind of fucked up. You get that feeling of when if everything's okay, then something bad must be fixing to happen, and that's just hardwired in a lot of people, myself included. And I'm 46 years old, I do my best to manage it, but at this point, it's the things that my brain does to itself. It's pretty much a chronic condition that I'm
Yeah.
just managing
It's
day to
pretty
day.
hardwired. Yeah.
but,
Yeah.
but it does help. I'm in a relationship right now with somebody who knows that about me and kind of understands it, and like, no, hey, listen, everything's okay. Like, I know what your brain is doing to itself right now. I get it,
Right.
but everything's all right. Everything's gonna be okay. Um, it's pretty nice. It's pretty rare to find that. It's rare to find somebody who will put up with that kind of shit for any amount of time. So um, they're usually
Nice.
good for 5 to 10 years, and then they're like, "Fuck this, I'm over it."
Right, right, right. Well, that's pretty good, you know?
But
5
I'm hoping to
years.
keep this. I'm hoping to keep this one for a while.
Yeah, well, you guys are super cute together
Oh,
for sure. Um, yeah, you guys always seem very happy together.
we
It's
just
like
laugh.
it's
We just laugh all the time. Just
yes, that's what I love
yeah,
about you
it's
guys
hilarious.
actually. Always laughing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's important.
it is. I think, especially, I don't know. It seems like maybe even the older you get, but maybe not. Maybe all the time. Um, just because, I mean, life is it's like wall to wall shit. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, right? Like,
Yeah,
it's
oh
just
yeah. Garbage.
shit. And then
Just
like
one
uh,
shit show after the other.
it just is shitball after shitball after
Yeah.
shitball, and I'm gonna be going into that time of a certain age where it's not gonna get any better. I mean, your your kids grow up and move away, and your parents start getting sick, and you got to think about that whole thing, and then you start, physically you start getting older, and it just becomes more shit wall to wall. And the people, I've always had a lot of older friends when throughout my life, and the ones that were happy, the ones that were able to like weather the years gracefully and find happiness, were the ones that could just fucking laugh at shit. The ones that could, like, that shit was just funny. You find the funny shit
Mhm.
and just okay, because what the fuck else can you do, man? Like, what
Yeah.
else can you do?
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, like using laughter as like something that's a necessity.
mhm,
Um or I think that's what the people that survive all that shit do is that
yeah,
they know that laughter's there
mhm,
and like that you need that.
yeah,
And yeah, it's it takes a certain type of person to yeah, to go through that kind of stuff. Like yeah, like my parents, I'm worried about their health and even like their friends, like they're dying. It's just one by one. It's gonna be like scary as well when
yeah,
like when friends die and yeah.
yeah. And it happens, and it doesn't stop. Like, I'm at a point now where I've got quite a few. Some of my best friends are dead people, and 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 you know it 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 changes your perspective. You're like, enjoy the people that are around you, that you care about. Enjoy them now. you know
Hmm.
Laugh now,
Yes.
like, do all this shit now. People are like, oh, those were the good old days, or oh, I can't wait until blah blah blah. Dude, the best time is like right now. Like, we're having the best time. Aren't we having the best time right now?
Yeah.
you know
Yeah.
like,
I know. Yeah. It's like it really like I think as corny as it sounds, there's a reason why people say it in so many different ways and in so many different, sayings. The no day but today, the you have to live in the
yeah,
moment, seize the
yeah,
day,
yeah,
carpe diem. It's
YOLO.
YOLO. Yeah, I think there's something there about like all we have is literally right now, and it's
Yeah.
like if you can find a way to live in the moment and also have all the other stuff that's shitty happen around you,
Hmm.
but somehow like when I took mushrooms once, and I was able to leave. Like it was during a time when there was a lot of stuff happening, and I during that trip I was able to leave myself and exist outside of all the problems. And I spent the
Mhm.
night. I consciously made the decision to spend the night without any of my problems, without me even existing, like without my ego existing.
Yeah, yeah, ego death, yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So that like went away for the whole night, and I got that little kid feeling. It's pretty typical. You feel like a little kid again, because like I
yeah,
wasn't holding on. I gave myself permission to not hold on to all the sadness and all the stuff that just sits on top of my head making tumors all day.
yeah,
Um
yeah,
and so like I feel like the happy people must be able to tap into that, because the people that live happy day after day, or at least stable and happy and whatever,
uh-huh,
the shitty stuff they're still happening to them. They still saw both their parents pass away and go through their grief. They've
yeah,
experienced all that stuff as well. They're just somehow um yeah, which for me seems inconceivable to
yeah.
to go through stuff and be able to. I don't know. Can you Have you ever been in like just the shits, just the worst situation, or just the toughest part, but still find that moment where you were able to like
It's
laugh?
fleeting. It's
Fleeting, yeah.
fleeting.
Yeah.
I can't always do it because I have, like I said, I have the kind of brain that attacks itself. Like especially at 3 in the morning, like when I wake up at 3 in the morning,
Oh,
and you're laying there and you're in the dark and
that's the worst.
your brain just goes, okay, well, let's see. You did this when you were 32, and yeah, we're gonna go through this now in great detail, and
Right.
I'm gonna kick you in the balls about it. You ready? Let's do that. Um, and
Perfect
it's
time.
yeah, it's not fun. So
You
when
have
you
to
have
stop yourself from doing that.
you just have to, and I've never been a big pot smoker. I mean, I smoked a lot when I was young, but I was depressed and it didn't really help. But I've been smoking again lately, and it's really sort of helped me get back to that place of just kind of being, um, just being less reactive and more present oriented, and just kind of being. Maybe I just found the right blend, like the right dosage, the right blend,
Right.
like
So
you know,
so you found that you could be like in the moment then more, where you're just kind of thinking
yeah,
less about other shit and not.
yeah, and I used to meditate a lot and stuff like that. I tried
Yeah.
meditation a lot, and if it's one of those things that if you um if you have a lot of discipline and you really stick to it, it really is kind of rewiring your brain. But
Right.
at some point, I lost the discipline for that. But yeah, there are ways that it takes. Some people are like that effortlessly, like my in so my girlfriend is this kind of person who is just sort of, you know, this she focuses on the simple things and the happy things. She's got problems just like everybody else. She's got problems, arguably probably worse than everybody else, in some ways, and yet still finds a way to just be present and happy in the moment. And it's good for somebody like me to be with somebody like that, because it gives you that other. If I was, in fact, I was married to somebody who was a lot like me, and
Right.
so that's not going to go anywhere. Like, you got two people who both kind of want to die a little bit, and
Yeah, it's a bummer.
you got
Yeah.
to, um,
Yeah. No, it's
so
perfect to have that the opposite.
yeah, exactly. Being around somebody who reminds you of what the other side of the coin is,
Right, right. Someone that can
it
see the light
helps.
in the
Yeah,
darkness. That's
yeah, it
possible.
helps. Yeah.
That's got to be
So
refreshing to be around someone like that.
yeah,
It's got
yeah,
to
it
be
is.
nice. I don't
Yeah,
know
it,
how they
it
do it. It's
yeah. I don't know. They just,
It's attitude.
it is. It really is. It's
Because
just
I
attitude.
really think like I like when I look at when I would when I look at your girlfriend, I wouldn't think that there's anything
Yeah.
like from my point of view. I'd say, oh, lucky her. She's just so happy. She must
What gives
lucky
you the
her. She's
right?
got nothing. Yeah, that's what I think. I think that's why I don't like happy people is because like I'll think, oh, their lives are so good and mine shit. Fuck them. No, they're
Yeah.
just choosing to laugh even though their life is pretty
Yeah.
shitty or
They're
could
picking
be.
out the good stuff. They're just picking out the good stuff. You
Yeah.
know, and that's a good way to be, man. Think about your dog. Think about that your dog does. Your dog's like, oh, okay, yeah, you cut my balls off last week, but hey, there's a frisbee.
Right. Yeah,
So
they work with whatever they're given.
yeah,
Dogs just go with it.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot to be said there.
I think humans just got too complicated.
Yeah,
Um, and I don't think we can handle uh our current like as someone said something about like we didn't evolve. I mean, technology evolved quicker than we did, and we can't handle any of this. I think that's why everyone's going crazy. Like our brains, where they currently are, just can't handle having all our friends and everyone we know be
yeah.
able to be on the tip of our fingers where we can look at them and like
hmm Yeah, like physiologically, we're the same creatures we were in, it,
1996.
we're the same people. We were the same creatures that we were in 3000 AD
Oh,
when we
right, right, right.
first started building communities around agriculture instead of hunting and
Right.
gathering. You
Yeah,
know what I
that
mean?
wasn't
So,
that long ago in terms of
and you knew five
evolving.
people. Yeah, you knew
Yeah.
five people,
Yeah.
throughout human history, and like I think my last, I don't know, I've got like 1,500 Facebook friends. Man, I don't know 1,500 people. You know, I have
Right.
access to everyone and everything all the time. That's too much for my caveman brain
Way too
to.
much.
Yeah, it's like sugar. It's like sugar. Like um, we have bodies that are and minds that are designed for scarcity. Um, we're built to have sugar once every 2 weeks when you
Right.
actually find a fruit tree and you take the energy from that. We're not designed to have all of the sugar all of the time right over there in my kitchen, you know.
In concentrated form.
Yeah, so human relationships are the same way where it's too much, and I think that's probably where a lot of social anxiety comes from, is just the fact that god damn, there's just too much, you know. Like
Right.
we don't we're not wired for abundance.
Mm-mm.
You know?
No,
We're wired for scarcity.
exactly. And I mean, our brains are capable enough to try and to do it, but it's like it's kind of like we're running a a a fancy video game on an old computer. It's just we can't handle it. I didn't know
Yeah,
how to describe
that's a,
a
that's a really
fancy
good
video
metaphor,
game.
man. I like it.
I couldn't think a high tech video game.
Yeah,
One of those fancy video games.
yeah,
Cool,
fancy.
dude.
All
Dude,
right,
this
I gotta
is
go
this
pee
is
and
this
cook
is
dinner.
something else.
Yeah, man.
Did an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah, is that
Pretty
good?
good.
All
That
right.
was this was a great podcast.
Think so? Yeah, this just feels
Yeah,
like this
definitely.
just feels like you and me having a normal talk.
I know. It's, I know, right? It's like I feel like it would have been I the same if I didn't even hit record. Did I? What if I
No,
didn't?
you did, but
Yeah.
I did Ramon's podcast last year, right when the pandemic started and everybody started doing Zoom, and
Yeah.
and I was already using Zoom for work, so I was like, yeah, I'll host it. I'll send you a recording. It'll be great. And we talked for like an hour and a half, it was awesome. It was great. We touched on everything. It was amazing. And he's like, okay, cool. I'll send me the recording. And I was like, fuck, really?
Oh.
I never hit record. He's like, you
Oh
mean
man.
so I just had a conversation, just a regular conversation with a friend? And I was like, yeah, I guess that's what happened. Not so bad.
Hey, yeah, yeah. It's like yeah, you still have the conversation. That sucks though.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. I feel
Yeah.
like I'm yeah, I appreciate you doing it.
Oh, I'm glad to, man.
It's like I feel like I don't know. It's like I'm almost like just asking my friends to talk to me. It's like
Yeah.
it's weird. I guess like I wouldn't feel awkward about asking a friend to hang out. So I don't know why I feel weird about asking people to be on a podcast. But
You shouldn't.
yeah, I should
Yeah.
just do yeah. But yeah, you're definitely one of the first people I thought about when I wanted to start a new one. Um
I
yeah,
appreciate that.
you've always been a great friend to me since we like especially since just like you're one of those like crisis friends too. Like if I'm going through some serious shit, you're always there to listen to me and talk
Yeah.
to me. There's been a couple times, one particular time where I was like, it was one of those times in your life where you think like your life's over, like just you're talk about being in the haze.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, we won't go into that, but at the time, I mean, I felt like my life was over. It wasn't at all,
Mhm.
but you definitely you like talked me off the edge there, and like seriously, like, and
Cool.
you brought me from like a really bad place to like a slightly better place,
Yeah.
which is exactly what I needed. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, you've just been great. So and
Cool,
thank you
man. I'm
for
glad.
doing this
I really am.
podcast. I appreciate it.
Mhm.
Happy and hating it. Yeah. So yeah, thanks, Dave Clark.
Thank you, man. Thanks for having me. We'll do it again soon.
Yeah, and wait, is there any anything you want to plug?
Oh, let's see. Well, all I
Forgot about
really got
that.
right now, Tank Top March 20th at the Crying Monk.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's going to be a fun show.
very
Always love
nice.
being at that place. Super
Yeah,
fun.
and that's in Cocoa Village, right?
Yeah,
Cocoa Village, and it's a really nice place. They did a good job with
it's
that place.
really cool. The menu is ridiculously
Is it?
good. Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. Right before, like, I think it was one of the last shows I did before quarantine, um, like kicked in like
Hmm.
March of last year, obviously.
Hmm.
But yeah, they brought out all this food, for us, and it was really good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
It's pretty
nice,
serious. Yeah. So come hang out on March 20th, get fat, get drunk, and
awesome.
cry with us at the Crying Monk.
All right, cool. Sounds good. All right, yeah.
All
So
right.
this will be everywhere podcasts are available, and it will be on YouTube. I just made the YouTube channel, so but
Oh, cool.
I'll tag you and everything and stuff like that.
Right on, man.
All right, cool. Thanks, Dave.
You got it, man. Thank
Have a good
you.
night. Yeah, take
You too,
care.
brother. Later.
Later.